Welcome to Untold Lores, The Dragon's Gambit, Part 3 of 4. The ancient temple groaned as its foundations shifted, massive stone blocks raining from the ceiling as cracks spiderwebbed across the walls. But this wasn't destruction, it was awakening. As Marcus's hand settled on Kael's shoulder, the dragon heart pulsed with a rhythm that matched something vast stirring beneath their feet. The truth hit Kael with crystalline clarity. The gem wasn't trying to corrupt him. It was trying to wake the dragon that had been sleeping within the temple's foundation for 3,000 years. Aethros the Eternal had been bound here since the end of the Shadowblade War, his consciousness scattered across a dozen vessels to prevent his resurrection. The dragon heart was the final piece, the key to his rebirth, and Kael was merely the lock it was meant to turn. Marcus's expression shifted from satisfaction to alarm as the implications became clear. "No," he whispered, his voice losing its predatory confidence. "The dragon is dead. We made certain of that." But the rumbling beneath them grew stronger, and golden light began seeping through the cracks in the stone floor. Ancient runes that had been dark for millennia suddenly blazed to life along the walls, each one a binding that was now being systematically shattered. Kael felt the corruption in his veins halt its advance, then reverse course as the Dragonheart's true purpose asserted itself. The gem hadn't been trying to claim him. It had been using his pure heart as a catalyst to break the final seals that held Aethros prisoner. The crystal fusion with his palms began to burn with cleansing fire, purging the shadow from his blood and replacing it with something far more dangerous, dragon magic older than human civilization. His eyes, which had been clouding with darkness, now blazed with inner flame as memories that weren't his own flooded his mind. He saw the Shadowblade War from Aethros's perspective, the desperate alliance between dragons and humans against the Shadow King's first rise. He saw the great dragon's sacrifice, willingly allowing himself to be bound and scattered to prevent the world's destruction. And he saw the prophecy that spoke of a pure-hearted human who would one day serve as the key to the dragon's return when the Shadow King rose again. Marcus staggered backward, his inhuman features becoming more pronounced as the temple's awakening disrupted whatever dark magic kept him anchored to life. "You don't understand," he snarled, his voice now carrying an otherworldly echo. Without the Shadow King's victory, without the corruption spreading across the world, humanity will face something far worse. Aethros may have fought beside your ancestors once, but dragons are not human allies. They are apex predators who see mortals as amusing pets at best. The floor cracked open behind the altar, revealing a chasm that glowed with golden fire. From its depths came a sound that was part roar, part song, the voice of a creature that had dreamed of freedom for 3 millennia. Kael could feel Aethros's consciousness pressing against the edges of his mind, ancient and vast and utterly alien in its perspective. The dragon didn't speak in words, but in concepts that bypassed human language entirely. Gratitude for his liberation, amusement at the irony of the situation, and a cold calculation about the usefulness of his liberator. "The Shadow King offers slavery," Kael said, his voice now carrying harmonics that human throats weren't meant to produce. "But you offer consumption. Neither option seems particularly appealing." The temple shook again as something massive shifted in the depths below, and cracks of golden light began racing up the dragon-carved pillars. Each pillar represented one of the binding sites where pieces of Aethros's soul had been hidden, and as the light reached their peaks, ancient magic sparked and died. Marcus made a gesture, and shadows poured from the passages around the chamber. Not natural darkness, but the living void that served as the Shadow King's eyes and hands in the mortal world. They moved like liquid night, reaching for Kael with tendrils that would drag him into eternal service. But the moment they touched the golden light radiating from the dragon heart, they screamed with voices like tearing silk and dissolved into nothing.
The light was anathema to them, dragon fire given form and purpose.
As the shadows retreated, Marcus's true form began to reveal itself. His human disguise peeled away like old paint, showing the hollow creature beneath, a shell animated by the Shadow King's will, kept functional by stolen life force and bound together with spite. "This isn't over, boy," he hissed as his borrowed flesh began to crumble. "The Shadow King has contingencies you can't imagine. And when Aethros inevitably betrays you, when the dragon's hunger consumes everything you've tried to protect, remember that you chose this fate." The temple gave one final tremendous shake, and the floor beneath them shattered completely. Kael found himself falling through golden light toward a presence so ancient and powerful that his mind struggled to comprehend it. Above him, Marcus's dissolving form was swallowed by collapsing stone, his final words echoing through the chaos. "The dragon was never the hero of this story, Kael Thorn, and neither are you." As Kael plummeted toward his destiny, the last thing he saw was a massive golden eye opening in the depths below, fixing on him with intelligence older than empires. But when Kael's feet touched solid ground, he wasn't standing before Aethros the Eternal. He was face to face with a young woman who wore the dragon's power like a crown, and she was not happy about being awakened. That's it for part 3. Follow Untold Lores for part 4, like and subscribe.